How to get your first wholesale deal even if you're broke. Hey guys, it's Rick and today's video is all about how to find deals with little to no money even if you're broke. I'm going to show you how to do it, but you're going to have to bring your A game to get this done. Before I get into it, do me a favor, make sure you smash that like button, you hit that subscribe button to continue to receive the best videos on wholesaling. So you want to get a deal, but you don't have any money. I'm here to tell you, you are in the right business called wholesaling. You see, unlike any other business vehicle, wholesaling, you can actually make a ton of money with absolutely none of your own money. I've said that, it is correct, and I've personally done it. So I want to walk you through the requirements that you're going to need to actually accomplish this. You see, you are short on three things when you start out in wholesaling. Number one, you lack experience. And that's okay because you will get that over time. The more conversations you have with the seller, the more often you do this, the better you're going to get out of this. And obviously, watching this video, you have a complete lack of money. That's fine. I spent a big part of my life without money. It is not something that's going to stop you. You just got to understand the rules of how to move forward. And the third thing you're going to be short on are resources, because in order to get really good at resources, it usually requires money. Here's what we're going to do in this video. We are going to flip around the use of using resources and teach you how to be resourceful, because I promise you, no matter what, that's what you're going to have to grasp in order to get your first wholesale deal with no money. So let me give you the two things you're going to have to master to do wholesaling with absolutely none of your own money. Number one, you're going to have an incredible work ethic. You are going to have to bring hustle. And hustle is something that you don't have to do for a super long time. But honestly, in the first 6 months to 12 months, you are going to have to bring your hustle muscle. The thing is, hustling is just about putting in a lot more time than anybody else. You can either do time or money. Since we don't have money, you're going to have to go really deep on time. You're going to have to spend an incredible amount of energy and time in finding deals with little to no money. How? By becoming resourceful. The second thing you have to do to accomplish this is you're going to have an incredible attitude. You're going to have enthusiasm that is, honestly, it's not containable. You see, I've never met anybody in wholesaling that if they had a super bad attitude, they don't get very far. But honestly, give me a wholesaler that has a great attitude with lack of experience and lack of capital and money, and they have a shot, they have an opportunity. But honestly, if you don't have money and you got a bad attitude, you are not going to get a deal with no money. It's just not even going to happen. Honestly, it's going to be even tough to do it with money. So you are going to have to bring your hustle muscle, and you're going to have to bring an incredible attitude. And what do I mean by an incredible attitude? It's just, you've got to be that person everybody wants to give a shot, because everybody remembers somebody at some point in their life when they were just getting started out, they didn't know what they're doing, and they want to give you a shot. If you are helpful with people and you offer your services in an enthusiastic way, they will reach out to try to help you with the opportunity, but you have to bring it. So now I'm going to walk through the 6 ways you can find your first wholesale deal using none of your own money. The first one's really simple, and often a lot of people overlook this, and I'm telling you, I still do this in my business today. It's called simply driving for dollars. And all you do is go out and look for ugly houses, look for houses with super high grass, with boarded up windows, blue tarps on the roof, or really deferred maintenance. And when you find these houses, simply write down the address, record in an app. I don't care if you do it old school, new school technology, and make a list. The key with this is when you see a property that is ugly and doesn't look right, there is always a story behind it. And behind the story is a person that's most likely struggling. Our goal is to reach out to that person to see if they're interested in selling that house and striking a deal with them. And it's simple as that. The more ugly houses you find, the more opportunity you have. Now, remember, you're new to this game, you lack experience, you're gonna have to get real resourceful. The key to this technique is quantity. If I go out and get 50 or 100 leads, you need to go get 500. Why? Because you can't buy them. You've got to spend your time, your hustle muscle, and you have to have as many opportunities as humanly possible, because you're short on experience, you're short on money, but you got a lot of hustle muscle and you got to do it and bring it with a great attitude. Go out and load up on this. I don't care if it takes takes you 6-7 days a week. Go get 500 driving for dollars leads, and that means you're going to have an incredible opportunity. Keep in mind, this list is personal to you. Nobody else has this list, and it is not considered an on-market deal. Now, keep in mind, guys, me talking about on-market deals, there's 2 requirements that you need to get a great deal, especially with no money. I just talked about it earlier. It's got to be off-market. No MLS, no FSBOs, anything like that. You got to find properties nobody else has knowledge of, and these are going to be your best opportunity. Number 2 is you've got to find people that need to sell their house, not people that want to sell their house, because people who want to sell their house are always going to wind up with a realtor. People need to sell their house creates a great opportunity for you to help them out. The second technique to find a deal with little to no money are just called government lists. And these are lists created by our government usually at the county and the city level. And they're usually the highest indication of high motivation of sellers. And here's the really cool part. It's free. So this is perfect strategy for you. Most people don't go get this list because they think it's like, well, if it's free, everybody gets it. I'm here to tell you it's free, but you're going to have to work to get it. Now, the type of list you want to get at your county courthouse, you want to get the probates, you want to get the pre-foreclosures, and the evictions. You should be able to easily get all 3 of those lists. Why? Probates, people pass away. That's typical motivation for people to sell. Pre-foreclosure means somebody didn't pay their mortgage and the bank's looking to foreclose on the house. Great opportunity for people to sell. And then evictions. These are landlords kicking people out that have not paid their rent or trashed the house. And what better time to sell the house when it's vacant and trashed to a wholesaler like you and me. Now, remember, we talked about that resourcefulness, and this is where I really need you to dig deep. You've got to find niche lists where they're going to have super high motivation to sell their house and nobody else knows about it. So I can go on and on about these government lists, but at the county and city level, you have lists like code violations. Whenever someone doesn't comply with the height of their grass, their landscaping, the color of the house, or deferred maintenance, they get a notice from the city saying they're violating the code, and they have 30 days to rectify it, or they can receive a $100 fine per day. Incredible motivation on those types of lists. You have your tax delinquency list at the county level. These are people who have not paid their property taxes, and if they don't pay them soon, the house will actually be auctioned off. It varies from state to state, but you want to talk about incredible motivation. These lists are great. Also, your water shut off. If your city or county has a public utility department and water gets shut off, you can actually request this list. Now, this list is not the easiest to get, but my God, it's one of the best lists for motivation. When the water shut off, people can't use the bathrooms, they can't take showers, they can't wash dishes. Obviously, there's probably a high indication there's a problem with the house, and most likely it needs to be sold. Moving on along those lines, fire damaged properties. You simply get it from your local fire department, and this is a list of all the fires that have occurred on properties that have been called on in the last 30 days. Yes, there's a ton of motivation when someone has a house that has been burnt. Some of them are just partial burns. Some of these houses need to be rehabbed. And yes, there are cash buyers specifically looking for these fire damaged properties. You go out and get this niche list because you're resourceful and you're doing what no other investor wants to do. Go out and get this list. But guys, it doesn't stop there. Your list can be as long as you can be resourceful. Think about this, arrest records. People get arrested that own properties. I'm not talking about crazy crimes like DUIs, batteries, stuff like that. And when they have multiple offenses, they go away for years. Well, they typically want to sell these houses and they have a lot of equity in them. What better motivation to sell to someone like you, a wholesaler, especially a guy or gal just trying to get started out with no money, very little experience, but an incredible attitude, and they hustle to find lists just like this. You can go to your local bail bondsman. They bail people out all the time for a fee, and they usually put a lien against the house. If they don't pay these monies back, they foreclose on the house. Bail bondsmen are in the business of doing bail bonds. They don't want to own the real estate, and they are a great connection. Now, a lot of these lists I just described to you, you can use a technique called reverse driving for dollars. Once you have that list, go by the properties, put a yellow sticky note on the door and say, listen, I want to ask you a quick question about the house, Rick, and your phone number. Why does this work so well? If I put 100 sticky notes on and I got 100 leads from the list I just talked about, and say 10 people call me back, I save 90 ridiculous phone calls, and then I talk to the 10 that want to talk to me, and from that I make appointments and I get a few contracts from it. It is an excellent and highest and best use of your time. That's what you call thinking with your head. It's about being resourceful, guys. Technique number 3 is just simple, good old-fashioned networking. You got to go out and let everybody know what you do. All you have to understand is you're a cash buyer. Do not announce the word you're a wholesaler. Number one, most people don't know what it is. And number two, I don't want to give a negative connotation out there. You are simply a cash buyer that buys houses quickly for people who need to sell their house quickly. That's all you got to tell them. Go to your local RIAs. That stands for Real Estate Investor Association. There's a ton of people you can meet there. Don't buy anything there. They're going to try to sell you everything under the sun. What you want to do is network. And if you're really resourceful about networking, go early and meet with the people. And then after the meeting in the parking lot, that's where the true networking begins. You can find people just starting out just like you. You guys can work together. You can find cash buyers. You can find people to tell you where the best places are to find deals. You'd be surprised how much information you can get from these networking events. Networking is something you go online, social media, you can network all day long, Facebook, Instagram. You guys can go to Craigslist. What about JVs? That's just short for joint venture. That's when you work with other wholesalers or rehabbers, anything like that, where you work on a deal together. Maybe you have a buyer, maybe they found a motivated seller and you guys split the deal. It is nonstop. I use JVs exclusively in my first 2 years, and don't overlook it. I'd rather you make some money than no money. Step number 4 to find a deal with no money is digital bandit signs. Listen, if you want to learn how to do this step by step, all these techniques are taught at freewholesaling.com. Check it out. Digital bandit signs is basically using the groups you're already involved in organically. Say if you're in a dog lover group, a cat lover group, you've been in there for years, you can simply go in there and make a bridging post. And it goes just like this. Not only do I love dogs and all the cats, and if you guys need help with it, reach out to me. I also buy houses for cash. I would love to help anybody out in this group because they've helped me out so much. You see, by doing it organically, you don't spam. And people like, okay, he or she's a cat or dog person. I love them. You've already built credibility. And then in the event they need to sell their house quickly, you are probably going to be the preferred choice. Guys, digital bandit signs is just like taking a bandit sign and putting it on the side of the road, but you're putting it out on the internet, and you can use this on all forms of social media. Get in there and get it done. Technique number 5 are garage sales. And it's not what you think. I don't want you to go to the garage sale. I don't want you ever to go to these garage sales. What you're going to do is find all the garage sales in your city, your county, whatever area you're farming for real estate, and you can get a list of them all. Now, get rid of the chronic ones, the ones that do it every weekend for a living. These are not people you want to deal with. But you want to find the addresses where these garage sales are going on, and then basically you go to the property appraiser's site and see if it's an absentee owner. An absentee owner is someone who doesn't live there. That means they are most likely a landlord. And if there's a garage sale there, most likely they have a tenant that's moving out. And here's the key to it. Most of the tenants are moving out unannounced, meaning they're getting out of there quickly. They might be selling some of the landlord stuff. And by you finding the owner, all you have to do is trace the phone number, go to truepeoplesearch.com, find the landlord's phone number and say, listen, I see you're having a garage sale at 123 USA Street. Guy goes, no, I'm not. I have tenants there. They go, well, there's one going on. That's when you can let them know. It's just want to let you know they're having a garage sale there. You actually just befriended the landlord and gave him information that he would have never had if you didn't tell him. And that is a perfect opportunity to follow up, to take a look at the house to see if there's interest in selling. Why? Because it's opportunity. You gave free information to the landlord. And number 3, if the house is trashed and the tenants are moving out, it is the perfect opportunity to buy a great wholesale deal, especially with no money at all. And number 6 is old-fashioned bandit signs. Now, this might cost you about $10 or $12, but all you have to do is miss 2 or 3 Starbucks morning coffees, and you can do this strategy easily. Get about 10 signs, get them blank. You can cut them in half. However you're gonna from a sign store or the box stores. And then basically the stakes you can cut in half. They're like 50 cents or $1. And then from that, you're going to take 8 to 10 signs and you're going to put them out in an area. And you're going to use a black Sharpie marker and you're going to write 3 lines. Sell your house today, any condition, any situation, and you're going to put your virtual phone number on there. And then you scatter those signs. I like to put them out Thursday, Fridays, and Saturday. So if you want to rotate them, you do it like that. Once you find an area where you're getting traction, stick with it, because that means it's getting a lot of eyeballs on it and nobody's picking up the sign. The guys that go out and put out 100, 200 bandit signs, they usually never last. So you're better off doing a small guerrilla marketing campaign and having a small rotation of signs going out every weekend, guys. It works really well. And here's the key to it. you got to answer your phones live. Now, I know that's a few bucks, but I showed you how to get the money for that. It's real simple. Guys, these 6 campaigns that I just taught you on how to get a deal with absolutely no money, they're 100% free. You have got to bring the hustle. You're going to have an incredible attitude. Let me know in the comments which of these 6 techniques you're going to use to get your first deal with absolutely no money, even if you're broke. And if you got value from this video, do me a favor, make sure you smash that like button, you hit that subscribe notification button to continue to receive the most up-to-date wholesaling videos just like this. Guys, this is Rick Ginn, and I'll see you in the next video.